Hey guys, what's up? I wanted to do a video on the Apple event and specifically the iPhone X and what it means for the future of the iPhone, some of the new technology in it, and just kind of my impressions of it, pros and cons list. Now I'm a Mac user from way back. I kind of have a little collection of old Macs like this LC580 that work just great. I might do a video on that in the future. That'd be kind of fun. But I have some newer Apple products too, of course. I have an iPhone 7. Before this I had a 5S and a 4S. I have an iPad Pro 10.5 inch, my first and only iPad. And following the Apple keynote this week, I bought an Apple TV 4K for my Vizio 55 inch 4K TV. So it was very interesting when they announced this iPhone X, kind of just looking at the details of it, seeing the direction that Apple wanted to take the iPhone in the future. You have a full edge-to-edge display, which opens up some interesting UI user interface possibilities. They ditched Touch ID because they weren't able to implement that into the screen. Instead, we get Face ID, which it's pretty cool. And I kind of laugh when people say, "Oh, well, Samsung has had this for a long time now." Well, the Samsung system is pretty simple. It just takes a picture of your face. The Apple system on the iPhone X, it's like nothing else on the market. It actually takes an infrared depth map scan of your face, and it cannot be fooled by a picture of you like the Samsung system can. And that depth scanning feature allows this awesome studio lighting portrait mode thing. You get the fake bokeh like you did with the iPhone 7 Plus dual cameras, but now you can get that on the selfie camera too, on the front camera, and you can have several different lighting profiles. Because it's taking a depth map of your face, it's able to shoot light off of the contours of your face digitally, kind of accentuate your cheekbones, or, from below or behind. It can black out the background, it can blur the background. So this kind of goes into Apple's mission of giving the iPhone the best camera ever. This is a big jump forward. This is something that's really going to be the gold standard in cameras going forward. The front camera especially has a lot of tricks now. It used to just be kind of something that was there for FaceTime, and now it's so much more. And the back camera now gains a faster aperture on the telephoto lens versus the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 7. You get f2.4 instead of 2.8, but the big addition is optical image stabilization on that telephoto lens. Furthermore, the iPhone 8 and the iPhone X supposedly have a slightly larger sensor than what we had previously on the 7, so that should be a big improvement in low light image quality. So we get awesome cameras on the iPhone X. That's one thing that jumped out at me right away. You get the cameras, you get the Face ID. Now let's talk about the design. Now you get glass front and back. The glass back is there for the wireless charging. Finally, Apple has wireless charging. And this is a big deal. I was kind of thinking about some people in my family who have iPhones, like my grandma. She's almost 90 years old. She has arthritis. It's kind of difficult to, for some older people to get this little connector in here and get it lined up and get it in. So if you could just set your phone down and have it charged, that is a huge convenience feature. And yeah, you have the option to charge it quicker over a cord, but if you're just plunking your phone down on your nightstand, it's okay if it takes a little bit longer to charge wirelessly. So I'm very glad to see Apple added that. Something else that returns on the iPhone X from way back from the 4 and the 4S is a stainless steel border around the edge of the phone. Beautiful polished stainless steel, kind of looks like the higher end Apple Watches with the stainless steel case. That rounded band looks so nice. And now the elephant in the room is probably price. It's not that huge of a deal for Apple to release a phone at $999. The Galaxy 8 Note is $929 to start. And, Apple's thrown the kitchen sink at this phone. It's not like they've rehashed the 7 and they just jacked up the price. This has a lot of new technology. But I think what really justifies it is now people are willing to spend more money on their phone to have more of a luxury experience, because think about it, your phone is probably the one piece of technology that you interact with more than anything else you have. So people are willing to spend more money because you're getting so much value out of it. You're spending a lot of money on a phone, sure, but it's something you use so much that it's, some people want the best and they're willing to spend the money on it. Now, another elephant in the room is the notch. Now, you can look at this a couple ways. I've even seen articles calling it kind of the trademark design feature of the iPhone, because so many competitors have, you know, different ways of blacking out the sensors that are necessary on a phone. But when you're talking about 8 different cameras and sensors and, you know, a dot projector and all this, you're going to have a place to put them. And Apple really used, the screen fills out every area on this phone it can. They didn't cheat and just put a bar on the top and the bottom for symmetry and, you know, put the sensors somewhere in there. The screen is everywhere it can possibly be on the front of this phone, and the notch is just the area that's used for sensors. So that said, you know, on certain applications it does look kind of strange, because like say you're watching a movie and you want it to fill the whole screen, well, you're going to have that little cutout. The same thing zooming into a photo. And Apple in their app guidelines for the iPhone X specifically says do not black out, or do not attempt to black out portions of the screen like around the notch. You cannot just cut a line there. So they're asking developers to kind of work with it. In some ways, it's nice because Apple can tuck the time and the signal level and the battery level up there and use the rectangular part of the screen for everything else. But I think for a lot of people, when you're talking about zooming into photos and playing videos that take up the whole screen and not a cropped 16:9 portion of it, seeing that cutout into the content is going to be kind of unsettling. So, you know, I think the jury's kind of out on the notch. I think it kind of depends on where Apple takes it in the future. It would be pretty cool if, you know, someday Apple could design a phone that didn't have that really did have a display that took up 100% of the front of the phone. But, you know, where are you going to put the microphone and the speaker and the camera and all that? We don't really have the technology now to embed that behind the display. Maybe one day we will, but right now we have the notch. So overall, I'm very impressed with the iPhone X, but there is an interesting omission from the keynote. Nowhere was ProMotion mentioned. Now that's something they really harped on the new iPad Pro, is that ProMotion 120 Hz refresh rate for scanning through content. And in my iPad review, I specifically said, hey, this is something we're going to see in the future on Macs, on iPhones. So for Apple to launch a flagship iPhone X with all that processing power and to omit ProMotion was kind of strange. Maybe they see this as something that's more important on bigger screens. Maybe it really is a battery issue factor on the iPhone X, but it was kind of strange not to see any mention of ProMotion. That's something I didn't see on any other iPhone X review, so I just thought I'd throw it in on this video, that ProMotion was not included. But other than that, I am super impressed with the iPhone X. I have the 7 now. I'm not going to go run out and spend a grand on the iPhone X. Next year, I'll probably get the iPhone XS or 11 or whatever it is, the next one. But for now, the 7 is a wonderful phone. I'm very happy with it. And I'm glad that Apple still offers a lot of different price points and feature sets, you know, to run the gamut on the iPhone. They have really good support for older devices. So I hope you like this recap. Stay tuned in the future for some more content on my channel, and I'll see you later.